There were a number of issues that we wanted to address, the main one really being the lack of concrete data about social enterprise in Ireland. We would need data for policy development or to allocate funding. And the sort of data that we were really looking for were the numbers of social enterprises in Ireland, the areas they operate in, the types of social enterprise they are, the number of employees they would have, and their contribution to the Irish economy.
As the sector, one of the things we were challenged with was you were trying to have conversations with people, and when they said, oh, how big are you? What do you look like? What's your employment levels? We couldn't really answer.
So we knew that we would have to generate some kind of concrete data. We didn't know how we were going to do it at that stage. So we made a decision we would put it out to tender. We decided to use a social clause, which meant that 20% of the marks would be allocated for the participation of social enterprise or social enterprise networks in the partnership who would actually deliver the project. Now, the reason we wanted to include social enterprise stakeholders was because we knew that they were the ones that had the core knowledge, they had built up the networks, because we knew that if we didn't include something like that and we got a purely research company from one of the tenders off the shelf, they'd be coming back and asking lots of questions like, what is a social enterprise? What do they do? The networks know all this.
And so when the tender came out, one of the things that for us was imperative was that the sector actually led that tender response. You need that voice and that expertise at the table. You need people who understand it to drive it. But also it's more inclusive. So why would you not want a more inclusive tender? It's like diversity across anything. Once you have diversity, you have a better result. What we did was we broke it down to what skills are needed. We needed research expertise, that data analysis. So we approached Amoric Research, a company here in Ireland, and they have a very social element to their work as well, albeit they're a commercial organisation. And they agreed to work with us because they see the value in social clauses. We brought the sector, but in addition, we also had the Irish Local Development Network as part of the consortium because we knew we needed local networks on the ground to also contribute.
They were going to design up a questionnaire that would go out to the sector.
Yeah, look, we did the survey. I think it was useful. So I guess there is a bit of a strategic policy deficit, really, where I think they need to be coming and talking to the local actors and say, what do you want? What would make your business more successful? And I think that is really, really important, especially on sort of procurement opportunities for social enterprise, but we need to know what procurement opportunities are there so that we can prepare a business model so that we can actually start to try and compete to take some of the tenders that maybe mainstream businesses would take.
The social enterprise representative bodies really helped us. They were able to notify their networks that the data collection exercise was going to go ahead, and then they really pushed to make sure as many social enterprises responded as possible.
An awful lot of our time has been spent dealing with politicians, so educating them in terms of what's social enterprise, why it's important, what the value to the economy is, and that was using the data collection data to be able to substantiate that, which was huge. So social enterprise got mentioned in the budget speech this year for the first time ever. And it got mentioned by the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Expenditure. And that was a ginormous move.
I definitely feel there's a really better understanding with the state about what social enterprises are and what we do and what our mission is. So I do think there's a much better understanding of that and that they are really trying to implement this in, policies and procurement policies as well.